I knew something was wrong the second her friends laughed about it. The kind of laughter that sounds light but hides something sharp beneath. "Oh, come on, Emma," one of them had said, nudging her across the table. "You've always said if Daniel ever messed up, you've got your backup lover ready to step in." The table erupted. I laughed too. Because that's what you do when you're blindsided in public, you laugh. You pretend the joke doesn't sting. You pretend you're not suddenly hyper-aware of every look, every smirk, every sideways glance between your wife and the man sitting across from you. I raised my glass, forced a grin and said, "Smart move. Always good to have a backup plan." Then I took a sip to hide the tremor in my hand. His name was Ryan. He'd been around for years, part of our circle, the kind of guy who shows up early to help set up the grill, always knows where the wine opener is, always remembers your birthday. I used to like him. He was funny, dependable, easy to talk to. I even asked him to be my best man at our wedding. Maybe that's what burns the most, that I trusted him like family. After that night I couldn't unsee it. The way she looked at her phone and smiled softly to herself. The way she'd tilt the screen away when I walked into the room. The way she laughed a little too easily when he texted in the group chat. It wasn't proof, just static noise of paranoia, but it ate at me. I tried to shake it off. We'd been married 7 years, and sure, we drifted a little, life does that. She was working longer hours and I'd thrown myself into a project at the firm. We barely touched anymore except for the obligatory goodnight kiss. Still, I believed in her. In us. Until that one night when belief wasn't enough. She was getting ready for another one of those casual hangouts with her friends, the same group that had laughed about her backup lover. I was on the couch, half watching a rerun, when she came out of the bedroom in that blue dress I hadn't seen in a year, the one she'd worn on our anniversary. "You look beautiful," I said. She smiled faintly, adjusted her earring and said, "Thanks. Who's going tonight?" I asked, pretending it was casual. "Oh, just the usual," she said, slipping her heels on. "Sarah, Megan, Ryan." She stopped just for a beat too long. My heart did that quiet twist. "You okay with that?" she added quickly, half laughing like she was daring me to make it a thing. "Why wouldn't I be?" I said, smiling through my teeth. "He's your backup, right?" She froze, mascara wand halfway to her lashes. "Daniel, it was a joke." "Yeah," I said softly. "I know." She left without kissing me goodbye. That night I couldn't sit still. I kept checking my phone, scrolling through old photos of us. Vacations, Christmas mornings, her leaning against my shoulder, my arm around her waist like I could protect her from everything. I wondered when exactly I'd stop being enough. At midnight, she still wasn't home. I texted, "Everything okay?" No response. I waited another hour before I called. It rang twice, then went to voicemail. Around 1:15, I heard the car pull into the driveway. I didn't move. She came in quietly, thinking I was asleep. I watched from the dark as she kicked off her heels and went straight to the kitchen, poured herself a glass of water, then leaned against the counter, eyes closed, smiling to herself. A smile that wasn't for me. The next morning I said nothing. I made her coffee just like always. She kissed my cheek, said thank you, and left for work. But her lipstick left a faint stain on the cup, and I found myself staring at it like it was evidence. I told myself I needed to stop. I wasn't a jealous man. I wasn't going to turn into that paranoid husband checking her messages or tracking her car. But that same week, she left her phone on the counter while she showered. It lit up with a message from R. My hands moved before I could think. R. Last night was perfect. Still smiling. My stomach dropped. I didn't scroll. I didn't need to. The words were simple enough to end 7 years of certainty. I put the phone down, walked outside, and sat on the porch until she came out in her robe, towel around her hair, pretending nothing had changed. "Hey," she said. "You okay?" "Who's R?" Her face didn't move at first. Then she blinked. "Work friend." "You sure?" I said quietly. She hesitated, just enough for me to know. "Daniel, don't do this." I laughed, but it came out cracked. "Do what?" "Ask why my wife is still smiling about last night?" She stepped forward, reaching for me. "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." Her eyes filled and she said nothing. Just that silence, thick, suffocating, final. That was the moment I knew. The moment I realized she wasn't my wife anymore, not really. She was someone else. A stranger I'd been sharing a bed with, hoping love alone could keep us honest. I didn't yell. I didn't break anything. I just nodded and said, "Okay." Then I walked out. For 2 days we didn't speak. She sent a few texts, "Can we talk? Please don't shut me out." I ignored them. I needed to breathe without the smell of her perfume on my clothes. I stayed at my brother's place, told him we were having a rough patch. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a beer and let me sit in silence. By the 3rd day I agreed to meet her. We met at the same cafe where we'd had our first date. She came in looking wrecked, makeup smudged, hands shaking slightly. "I messed up," she said. "It wasn't supposed to happen." I didn't interrupt. I just listened. She told me it had started months ago, small things, talking too much, confiding in him about our fights, one bad night that turned into another, until it wasn't an accident anymore. "I still love you," she whispered. "I swear I do." I looked at her for a long time. "Do you?" I asked. "Or do you just hate being the one who broke it?" Tears filled her eyes. "I made a mistake." "You made a choice," I said. She reached across the table, but I pulled my hand away. The ring on my finger suddenly felt like a lie. A weight I couldn't carry anymore. That night, we ended up at another gathering. I don't even remember why I went. Habit, maybe. The same group of friends, the same laughter, the same goddamn familiarity. Ryan was there, of course. When he saw me, he went pale. I walked up to him, heart pounding but steady, and smiled. "Hey man." He started to speak, but I cut him off. "You win," I said. "She's yours." Then I slipped off my wedding ring and handed it to him. His eyes widened, hands trembling as he tried to refuse. But I just pressed it into his palm and said, "Smart move, right?" The room went silent. I didn't wait for an answer. I turned and walked out into the cold night, the laughter dying behind me. I drove without knowing where I was going. Just the hum of the road, the ghost of her voice in my head, and the hollow space where love used to live. I thought about the man I used to be, the one who believed marriage meant safety, that love was stronger than temptation. Now I know better. Love isn't armor. It's exposure. It's standing naked in front of someone and praying they don't pick up a knife. When I finally stopped the car, the dawn was breaking. Soft light spilling across the horizon like forgiveness I didn't yet deserve. I sat there and whispered, "You kept your back up, Emma. I just lost mine." And that was the truth. She had a plan for if I ever messed up, but I never had one for when she did.